Welcome back to The Rhode Show. This morning in The Buzz, we're talking about privacy versus celebrity. Golf superstar Tiger Woods released a statement yesterday saying in part that he'd let his family down. He says, "I regret those transgressions with all my heart. I have not been true to my values and the behavior my family deserves. I'm not without faults. I'm dealing with my behavior and personal failings behind closed doors with my family, and those feelings should be shared by us alone." Now, he goes on to say that even though he's a well-known person, he's made his career as a professional athlete, he is dismayed to realize the full extent of what tabloid scrutiny really means. And he has not had to deal with this before because he's been viewed as a very upstanding, gentlemanly, and not very talkative guy in terms of talking to the public. So do you guys agree with this statement, this idea that, you know, listen, it's been exposed, I'm clearly embarrassed, and I need to deal with this privately? What do you guys think?
I think it's a really...
I'd like to hear it from a woman's point of view.
You know, I feel bad for his wife. I
think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's already heartbreaking, and then you're dealing with hearing it and having people follow you around. I can't even imagine what that must be like for her.
And it will never go away.
Right. No, but you know, it's hard to draw that line between a private life and a public life when you're a celebrity and you want the endorsements, you want the coverage when you want it, and it doesn't always work that way.
And I think the tricky part about this is, first of all, no one has said, you know, shame on these women. This is Tiger Woods. You know he's married. You know his whole story. All you have to do is Google him once. And these women were carrying on these affairs. Shame on them. But on top of that, I think the line gets blurred a little bit because these are private citizens who now get to step into the celebrity arena. So, you know, they are selling their stories, selling their soul, really.
Well, that's why these people need to behave, these celebrities, because there are people out there, gold diggers, that want to take advantage, are waiting for you to slip up for the first time, and they're going to pounce on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think sometimes what happens with celebrities especially is, depending on how high you are, and you don't get much higher than Tiger Woods, is you get into this rarefied air of oxygen that nobody else breathes. This arrogance. Everybody wants to give you things for free.
Right. Everything you do is right.
You don't pay for meals.
Right.
You get into the top nightclubs for free. Everybody wants to be your buddy.
And you don't know how
all
that affects
the women are coming around you.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I don't know it, but, you know, I've heard others talk about it. After time, this just starts to become part of your persona.
Right, right.
And you can see how something like this can happen. The question is, to me, at the end of the day, did he handle this properly or did he make it worse?
I think he might have made it worse, but I have to also say, you know, there was a time in Hollywood when you didn't know if an actor was married or unmarried. We didn't know that our president was in a wheelchair. We didn't know that some of these celebrities that were trotted out with women
We didn't know JFK was messing around with Marilyn
Monroe. We didn't know any of that.
No.
And the thing is, I feel like everything around these celebrities is so constructed so that you believe the image, buy into the image, buy their products that they endorse, that when they fail in this way to live up to that image, and in such, and I'm not talking about as dalliance or whatever, but I mean, we're talking about these women saying 20 encounters. There are 3 women so far who are coming forward and saying they were involved with him. You know, it just, to me, it's like, how dare you say, oh, this is very private, when you asked us to believe that you were this family man, this upstanding guy. Your wife even believed it, and then you say, oh, I'm sorry, you can't deal with this. When we wouldn't have even known about it. You didn't come forward ahead of time. The media had to out you. You know, maybe if one of these guys said, listen, I gotta get away from this. I've done some things that are wrong. Say, listen, I gotta get away from this to the media before the story comes out, and then goes back. You can say, listen, they admitted to it. They should be able to deal with it privately. But when the media outs you, it's like...
I'll give you my 2 final thoughts on this. One, I think he should have done what David Letterman did.
Right, just come up, say it.
Letterman did was brilliant. He came out, and he came right away, and he said, I've had some transgressions. I'm deeply sorry for it. I've had relationships with people and women that I've worked with. It was wrong. I have to make it right, and it will either work or it won't. We'll see. It was a story for 2 weeks, and it went away. Number 2, and I've said this before, I believe that this country has become so starved, and we have become so voyeuristic in watching people fall and just trampling them when they're down, that it just makes me sick.
I have to tell you what Tiger did makes me sick.
And everything is so instant.
No, I agree with that.
Instant now.
Yeah.
Instant Twitter,
Yeah.
instant Facebook. It's instant, so there's no stopping it once the ball starts rolling.
That's right. You know, Courtney, I want to bring you into this because I'm sure the live blog is all abuzz this morning about this.
That and Facebook. And what's interesting is, no matter how much he's in the media right now, the folks are saying they'd like for his life to remain private. So as much as we want to know more of what happened, they're standing behind him saying we should just leave it alone. So here's a comment from Tripp on our live blog on FoxProvidence.com. He says, we all deserve our privacy, and I believe public figures do too. Unfortunately, the reality is that public figures go into their profession knowing that's just not going to happen. And Smokey Wolf says, we don't like it when people know our business, so it's only fair for them to have the same thing. Here's our poll on FoxProvidence.com. Do you think celebrities' personal lives should be private? A, yes, we all deserve a level of privacy, or B, no, and it shouldn't affect their careers. Here's a snapshot of our Facebook page right now, and we've just been getting comments throughout the morning. This one's from Sherry Bashaw. She says, I think they should be kept private. His fame is from golf, and that's where it should stay. And Kristen Langley says, I think there's been too much coverage about it. It happened. It was made public. Now let's move on. I'm sure he's not the only celebrity making news. And Tracy Pendergast says we should absolutely respect their privacy. I'm discouraged by the attention that these stories get. So there's a ton here, and of course we'd love to hear more from you. If you're just joining us, you can go on Facebook, leave a comment, or just vote in our poll. But I'll have those results at the end of the show. For now, we're going to head into the kitchen. Lily,